Hello, we are going to discuss something new about or the growing field nanotechnology in food and agriculture. So, what is the need to speak about food and agriculture especially? Nanotechnology is doing well in all other fields. We are particularly focusing on food and agriculture. What is the need? Yes, there is a need. The rapidly increasing global population demands us to think about more new avenues to overcome the poverty and other issues, as well as to meet out the global need of food production as well as food crop production. So the sustainable agriculture is a key component, or which is the effort to meet all of our needs on the basis of food and related materials. And these kind of advanced technologies like nanobiotechnology is one of the promising tool to achieve these food constraints as a sustainable agriculture production. The nanomaterials or this nanobiotechnology not only acting as the nanocarriers or drugs or either fields. Nowadays, due to their physiochemical properties, the scientists were inherently aiming to enhance the productivity of agricultural crops worldwide, as well as the nanomaterials also helps plants to overcome the stress which may be edaphic stress or any other related stress due to their physiochemical properties like foliar delivery, hydroponic systems, and soil, as well as the stresses against like salinity stress, drought, heat, and highlight. This technology may help or may augment the growth of plants to meet out the global need of food. So he discussed something about the avenues, the technology, and how we are practicing to improve those food crops. So we may have a question in our mind: why we have to choose nanotechnology? How it will be helpful to produce the required amount of crops or agricultural crops? We may have so many technology in agriculture itself. We have sustainable development also in agriculture itself. So many of the sustainable development uses chemical fertilizers to augment the growth of plants, which ultimately affects the fertility of soil, as well as it pollutes the groundwater, soil, the soil microbes like the farmer's friend earthworms. They all affected by the chemical fertilizers. So to address those pollution issues, this technology, nanotechnology, has great promise in addressing many of the pressing needs in the food and agricultural sectors. How they are addressing these issues? Yes, nanotechnology improves current agri-food practices by opening new avenues of food production, manufacturing and packaging, plant cropping, as well as animal protection, and also they have roles in fisheries, making the food and agriculture industry the most important fields of nanotechnology application. And nanotechnology also have wide application in the agriculture field, not restricted to the fields which is given here, like controlled release of fertilizers, biosensors, understanding plant physiology, delivery of agrochemicals, antimicrobial food packaging, antimicrobial nanoparticles, precision water management, delivery of micronutrients, and so on. So these all are some of the important fields where nanotechnology is delivering successfully or addressing the issues. So nanotechnology, or the role of nanotechnology in crop improvement, we can see here two pictures, which is one is control and another one is the plant grown on carbon nanotubes. These images clearly indicates the nanoparticle based figure shows us the augmented growth we are witnessing by seeing the result. These are research publication published in the ACS journals. So which means that which is successfully proved this nanotechnology is improving the or augmenting the growth of plants. Likewise, we can produce variety of rice in the shortest span of time, as well as we can change the seeds on the basis of atomic level, which can make them to grow all over the year. So by producing color rice, this nanotechnology also addressing those issues. So what is the need of color rice? We may ask the question in our mind, because people are going for the modern junk foods, which ultimately affects the health of ourselves as well as our generations. So to bring them back to the traditional food items, the organically made, organically grown rice varieties with different colors may attract them back to the traditional food items. So this kind of technology is useful to maintain our human system without any effects. And there are few or important advantages of nanotechnology which is listed here. The nanotechnology in the current time is one of the growing field we are figuring out, and in agriculture field it may be act as the sensors to monitor pathogens which affects crops, and also we can apply them to measure their productivity, which is one of the important avenue. And it also have some disadvantages. Each and every technology may have disadvantages. Even with these also have some disadvantages. Highest amount of nanoparticles may lead to the plant's growth substantially, or it may affect the soil condition also. So current status and the future trends of nanoparticles, still I guess the nanoparticles are in the early stages of the development. Maybe in the future it may develop to produce validated technologies. Some of the new developed tools may not be viable in the nanotechnology field because it needs extensive field trials to approve them. So when in the future it may produce or it may create chances for jobs. And this nanotechnology is not a current field of study or a main field of study in focus when we are going for a career, which is one of the interdisciplinary. That is one current status now. And if it become one of the technological revolution, which may in future it have a great chance, and it will be one of the technological revolution to achieve our targets. And IIT Madras have designed nanoparticle made water purifier which is installed all over the places of India, which means that AMRIT, anion and metal removal by Indian technology, which is one of the affordable technology based water purifier to dispense safe and affordable drinking water at a cost of 5 paise per liter. This is possible because of nanotechnology. So the nanotechnology open up many ideas, many needs to overcome the issues. And endosulfan is one of the stable pesticide which found on soil due to the extensive usage to control many pests and other crop affecting microbes, something like that. It can be detected in ppm levels using gold nanoparticles, and also it is absorbed onto the nanoparticle surface after long interaction. So these nanoparticles used to detect as well as absorb these endosulfan from soil, which makes soil as a fertile one, not as the sterile one, which is one of the positive goal. And also these process can be used for field reduction also. It may scaled up for environmental decontamination. As well as we discussed earlier, drinking water purification nanoparticle is useful now. And introduction to pesticide delivery. The spray organosafe spray is nowadays introduced in many regions of world. So to control pest, nematodes, some microbial system also people are using nowadays. Just simply spraying on the crops, which helps as well as it increases the soil fertility, which is our ultimate goal. So design of pheromone releasing fibers for plant protection. So the pest are the direct enemies of crops. They affect the quality as well as the yield, the growth and everything they were affecting. We are witnessing over by years or over decades, and some kind of nanoparticle which can release fibers for plant protection, and these may control or these may act as pesticide, insecticide, herbicide and fungicide. And these pheromones may be one of the alternative tool to counterattack insect damage. Pheromones are used by insects to transmit messages. Mating pheromones are the most related to fiber protection. It can be used for mating pheromones to trap insects or disrupt mating patterns. So advantages: it can use pheromones selectively to control insect damages in the crops. So there are some problems when we are going for new technology. We have to overcome the hurdles. As well as when we are talking the role, we have to speak both advantages as well as disadvantages. So when we are designing these pheromones, it needs as much amount of concentration, sensitive to wind and rain, as well as uneven distribution. It may cause or it may use the possibility of control. And also nanofiber webs to hold pheromones. So these are protected from wind and rain. It have the continued as well as controlled release and evenly distributed. So this is one of the alternative methodology which got published in the journal Polymers of Advanced Technology in the year of 2009. And so these are some of the interesting applications nowadays people were using in agricultural field. nanomaterials were used as nanosensors, nanomaterials were used as nanopesticides, and nanofertilizers, as well as used as the genetic engineering tool. And these nanoparticles were acting as the soil conditioners, and it also increases the beneficial microbes in the soil. And these nanofertilizers also induces the growth of root, and it is acting as the seed coat, which protects from the harmful microbes. And so this article, which is published recently in one of the elsewhere journal, and there they used a nanoparticle as well as they applied on foliage, as well as they have given through irrigation also, and they have recorded their role in plants. The anatomical features elucidate as the interaction as well as movement of nanoparticles inside the plant cells. So root also absorbs these nanoparticles. These nanoparticles were continuously used to develop new avenues, as well as it opens up new ideas to understand the physiological features of crops. And this also in sensor field, the sensors were used to detect the nutrient level in plants, water level in plants, the stress what they are face. So these are some of the field which is applied now. And if in controlled system, nanoparticles were also used to purify the water through agricultural systems. We can see here so many tanks were filled by nanoparticles. Those tanks were shows extensive growth compared to the nearby places. So these are some of the field experiment which is published in the journal. And another one interesting paper which is published in the ACS based journal, which is carbon 60 elevative oxidative stress as well as cerium oxide nanoparticles helps to overcome the stress, and also it increases the yield of crops. And some of the non-nano enzymes, that is Fe nanoparticles, Fe2 oxide nanoparticles, titanium oxide nanoparticles, silicon based nanoparticles, as well as zinc oxide nanoparticles were used in agricultural field to increase the growth and antioxidant mechanism, increase the photosynthesis pigments, increase the growth as well as enzyme content, reduce level of H2O2 and MDA, increase the phosphate, and enhance carbon assimilation and enhance the ability to close stomata. And also these nanoparticles were helping the plants to overcome stresses like salt stress, drought stress, heavy metal stress through ROS process. And these image figuring out about the different kind of nanoparticles and their role in agriculture. So CE based nanoparticles helps plants to overcome the fungal based wilt diseases, which ultimately increases the productivity. And magnesium based nanoparticles again against the microbe, which shows some serious inhibition rate, ultimately increases the yield. And silica based nanoparticles were shows some resistant against aspergillus as well as wilt diseases, fungal based wilt diseases. So these are direct usage. This improves the productivity in plants. And silver based nanoparticles were reduced plants from bacterial spot disease, as well as they also control some nematodal disease, and also they have some strong antifungal activity against bipolaris soronginiana. And copper based nanoparticles were showed their antifungal activity against some plant-based fungal diseases and suppressed fungal disease, and also they reduce some severity of another bacteria, michigansis, which is and carbon-based nanoparticles possess some antifungal activity as well as against some important or severe pathogenic fungus. And titanium based nanoparticles increases the photochemical activity as well as photochemical active properties in plants, and also they shows some antibacterial effect against some Xanthomonas perforans. So by this we can understand these nanoparticles possesses the effect to control the capability to inhibit the growth of bacteria, multiplication of fungus, as well as pest in crops, which ultimately increases the yield in diverse agricultural fields. Crops, insect resistant plants, and also it have the capability to produce hybrid plants, and also it have the capability to produce traditional varieties. It also have the capability to increase the yield in traditional food items, traditional rice varieties, traditional crops, and so this nanotechnology open up in agriculture for the technically speaking, this opens up the avenues for the better protection in the near future to overcome the food demand. The rapid growing population in our country as well as worldwide demands us to produce more agricultural crops to overcome those issues. So many countries were facing the scarcity, are facing in the downtown growth of agricultural needs due to the climatic changes. These climatic changes demands us to think some of the new technology to overcome these issues. So this is one of the vibrant technology in my view to produce as well as to overcome the scarcity, the food demand, and the growing population demand. Also expresses as makes us to understand the real need, the real demand to produce, to go for this nanotechnology field. And in my own view, this nanotechnology is a promising field of research, opens up in the present decade the wide array of opportunities and expected to give more impulses to technical innovations in a variety of industrial sectors in the near future. So the nano looks very small. The small idea have big impacts in the near future. This we can understand in the coming days. Definitely we will witness the role of nanotechnology in agriculture with special reference to pest management, high yield, disease resistant, and health of soil, fate of soil. So hopefully I have opened up some ideas to think about nanotechnology for the better production of agricultural crops, to overcome the scarcity as well as the demand of food in the near future. Thank you.